Welcome to another edition of the Unsexy Businessmen podcast, where we talk about everything entrepreneurship and unsexy businesses. As always, I am joined by my brother, Aaron Skinner. I am Alex Skinner, and today we're going to be chatting about enduring through self-doubt. And I think this is something that Aaron and I have probably both experienced, and somewhere where I just want to start off really quick with this is I feel like in order to like get through self-doubt, it's really going to depend on what type of personality you have. So as we're going and talking about this, maybe you don't have a similar personality type that Aaron and I have, and even Aaron and I have different personality types when it comes to like what motivates us and what gets us out of ruts when we're going through them. But first, my favorite of all of the Collins, what was the first time that you ever had like self-doubt?
Dude, when I first started my business. So when I first started it, and I've probably told this story. I mean, I have told this story many, many times. I don't think on the podcast. So when I first started my cleaning business, I got a client. It was going good. And it was a decent paying client. It was enough where that proof of concept was there. So I was like, that's it. I'm putting in my 2 weeks. I put in my 2 weeks. And as soon as I stopped working at that job, immediately I was like, oh God, I've made a huge mistake. Like, it just was like, is this actually going to work? Am I going to be able to like make more money than I was at my previous job? I was like, why did I do that? And I remember it's interestingly enough, we have an uncle who owns a business. And I remember talking to him that I wanted to start a business, and he's great. I love him. He's fantastic. But he was like, it's funny because we have multiple uncles that own businesses, so you don't know which one I'm talking about. But I remember telling him I want to start a business, and he's just like, why would you do that? It's like, you have the security of the job that you have. You don't have to worry about employees. And so as soon as I quit my job and started work, like that came into my mind. I was like, why did I quit? I did have yes, it was a very crappy paying job and I got no fulfillment in it, but those doubts started creeping in. And you'll get that too when you like start your own business and stuff like that. Like those doubts and maybe the haters or whatever will start creeping in your mind. So that creeped into my mind of like, why did I do this? I shouldn't do it. But what helped was I hated the hatred of that job is what pushed me to kind of overcome at least that first aspect of self-doubt. I'd wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I do this? And then after, the 5-minute pity party or wave of depression that first came in the morning, you kind of gotta fuck that. I'm going to go out and I'm going to start doing whatever I have to do to make this business successful. But it was like the first day after I quit my job, that self-doubt crept in like immediately.
Obviously I got fired and then I got a new job and then we decided to make Keystone. I was working at that company for 3 days and it was in total benefits, like the salary was $100,000-ish. Like it was in I don't remember the exact number. It was like 90, 98. It was some weird number that I was like, what are we doing here, guys? But anyways, there had to have been a reason they have that specific number. And I was like, oh gosh, like how am I going to make up that much deficit when I'm only making, I guess it was like $60,000 a year? Well, not even like after taxes, no benefits. So really it was $60,000 flat. How am I going to make up that difference? And I think it's similar to like what Aaron was saying, where it's just, you just start doing stuff. And I'm not perfect at this. And I'm not going to claim to anyone that like I have the silver bullet that's going to make you get over self-doubt. I still have it regularly, even though I've been successful with things that I have worked on. But I think it's just the doing. The people who end up truly failing are the people who stop, become slothful, become apathetic, and are just so overwhelmed and bombarded by that depression and anxiety that they just freeze. But if you keep moving, that is when I start to see, I feel better because you see another success. I think there are, right. And I'm not one of these personality types. I think you either have to be too stupid to give up or be too stubborn to give up. And I think
Or
Aaron and
both.
I fall more in like the more stubborn side of things, where it's
Yes.
just like, this has to work. I do not want to look like an idiot, because the people who are too stupid, like they just keep going. Like they don't even know. They're like a horse with blinders, and they're just like, I'm just going to keep going, just going to keep going, just going to keep going. And they see that success. Whereas for me, it's very cerebral in my head, where I'm like, I don't want to be seen as a failure. And then
Right.
something really important with failure is like, and I hate doing like these cliches, but like, I don't think failing at something makes you a failure. It's not trying to do something new, like not getting back up does. Like
Right.
you've heard that thing, like fall down 7 times, get up 8, which makes no sense to me. If you fall down 7 times, you just have to get up 7 times. I'm sure there's something in there that I'm missing, some
The math
symbolism.
of that doesn't make sense.
Right? It does, like I see it all the time. It's and it's
Yeah.
not 7 and 8. It's like it's the person who gets up, falls down 5 and gets up 6 times. Like, why do you have to get up twice one time? But
Yeah. Well, you
I really do
stumble.
believe that it is just okay. This thing didn't work. What's the next thing? This thing didn't work. What's the next thing?
Right. Yeah.
And
No,
then
I
things
totally
start to
agree.
work.
Well, and not only that, what really helped me, especially in the beginning, was setting up like a regimented, like day. Like I think some people quit their job, have the business going, and they don't really have their day planned out very well, and it gets real easy to like, I feel like I'm retired. I can just I can watch Netflix, or I can play video games, or whatever it is. I set my like once that self-doubt came in, and like fear was really what it is. It was just a fear of failing. Was I just planned my day out like just meticulously. Like, all right, I wake up, I'm going to, look at my goals for the day. I'm going to, do this much, and this much time is going to be dedicated to sales. This much time is going to be dedicated to working on the website. And just all the different aspects of the business that I wanted to improve on. It was just a daily thing, and it was broken down literally like hourly of what I was doing. And if you don't do that, unless you're just a super duper mentally organized person, for me, I had to have it written down on like my Google calendar of like, this is what you're doing every day. And I would look, all right, what I got to do, this, and this. And then it went from like the kind of the simple tasks of, just going to do sales. Now it's like, all right, now I'm following up with this lead, or I'm taking care of this client, or, and then it builds up more and more, where it's like, now I have to hire someone. Now I have to do interviews. Now I have to, find better insurance, or whatever it is. But if you don't start in the very beginning of having a very regimented, this is what I'm doing every day, it is way easier if those doubts start coming in. It's way easier to let those fester and grow, where you don't have a direction that you're actually going towards. Because if you're just like, I want to make $1 million, and that's it, but don't have any actual plan of how to do that, once the failures and the falling downs and all of that happen, it's just way easier just to quit. And you're 100% right. We say this all the time, Alex. I truly believe the businesses that fail are the people that just didn't pivot to different strategies within their business. It's to be like, well, this doesn't work, and I've been doing it for 2 years. I can't believe I've been doing the same thing for 2 years and it still doesn't work. This is crazy. I'm going to quit. And then they go out of business. Instead of like, after 6 months of not seeing success, saying to yourself like, all right, this isn't working. I need to figure out why it's not working, and I need to do something else, try some different strategies. And I'm sure you could, I mean, this is huge in the digital marketing space, when you do, or advertising and marketing, well, just marketing in general. The different tactics that you have to use. If something's not working, try something else.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Whenever you're dealing with algorithms, it's inevitably going to be, oh, the algorithm changed, so how are we going to play this game now? X
Right.
input no longer gives us Y output, so X doesn't, if we want to get Y output again, we need to try some other type of input. But man, and that's like the hardest part about an agency versus, and I talked about this a lot when I was a teacher, because I taught digital marketing and analytics at Mountainland Technical College, which teaches like a lot of technical skills, like the things that we talk about, electrician, plumbing. all of those different things. And the one thing I would tell all my students is like the biggest, and the reason that you will have a higher, like, make money option, like, in marketing, is because you have to be able to input output. Like, I hate to be super reductive, but you're always going to cut hair pretty much the same way. I know you go like different head types, but for the most part, like, you get that certain hair type, you know how to cut it. Blood transfusions. I think we're still doing blood transfusions the same way. It's not like, oh, brand new way to do blood transfusions every other day. So being able to test is probably the most beneficial skill I've learned from doing digital marketing. And then that's what's helped with, that's why obviously, or honestly, obviously my clients love me, is because like, all right, this thing that has been working for a really long time isn't working anymore. Let's pivot to this thing. Um, and that has worked really, really well. And then something that I want to go into from like and I'm just going to say some common excuses, Aaron,
Sure.
for like when people have self-doubt. I'm too old. How would you respond?
Well, there's like the classic Colonel Sanders. He didn't start till he was like 60 something before he started his business. There's plenty of people. Yeah, you do hear that, right? Like, well, I'm pretty deep in my career, even though I hate it. I don't want to, it's too late for me to start a business. It's not. In fact, I got a buddy, listens to the podcast. He got laid off from his job. I'm not going to name his name. He knows who he is, and started his own kind of contracting business where he does, I never remember, and I think I've said this multiple times, but he does like app development or something in that sphere, and he's doing really well. Like, and he's our age, or I guess my age. He's older than you, but there's really, that's just, age is just a number, man. And yeah, like I don't think you can be too old to start a business. Yes, if you're 80 years old, you probably shouldn't start a landscaping business, but maybe you still could if you have the skill set to do it, and you can train someone else to do the physical labor part of it, but you got a great mind for sales and marketing, you still could. But yeah, I do not believe in I'm too old to start a business at all.
I don't have enough time.
The I don't have enough time excuse is more on you, I would say. It's like the same thing about like, I just don't got time to go to the gym. I'm just too busy. You know, I got my kids, I got my job, I got the activities for my kids, blah blah blah. Like, you always have time. My example with that is like, if someone told you, I'll give you $1 million if you wake up 2 hours early every day for the next year, would you be able to do that? Would all of a sudden you could find the time? The answer is obviously going to be yes. Or maybe, okay, maybe $1 million is enough. $1 billion. You are going to find the time if it's something that you really, really want to do, or that you're passionate about. I don't believe in there's not enough time, or I don't have enough time to start a business. It's just, these are all just going to be excuses that you tell yourself why you can't do it, when in reality, you absolutely can.
I don't know what I am doing. I don't have the skills.
The great news about that, and this is before the internet, there were books before the internet you could read and learn about building a business and things like that. But the world that we live in now makes it infinitely easier to learn everything that you need to know in every aspect of business, how to build a business. Now, you could go from, obviously, we always do these plugs. You can go the route of talking, or like getting a course from someone like us, from Unsexy Businessmen, that is a very reasonably priced one. We're not talking about thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. And you can get all the information that you need. Or if you don't want to do it, all right, so let me just say this up front. The benefit of getting the course is everything is already there. All the information you're looking for is already there, especially in ours. Like, please don't go spend thousands of dollars on a course. It's insane. Unless we start selling one we charge that much. We won't. But the benefit of that is you don't have to go around looking for it. It's already there. Now, if your time isn't as valuable as I would think you should think it is. You can always you can go like YouTube is full of information. Google is full of information. ChatGPT full of information. If you want to just try and figure all this stuff out on your own, it's going to take a lot longer to do, but it is definitely possible if you don't want to spend any money at all. But if I would have had the option of buying our course when I first started our cleaning business, I would have, because it would have saved me weeks, if not months, and then thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars in mistakes and wasted time trying things that didn't actually work, hiring the wrong people because I didn't know what I was doing, setting up my, Google My Business the correct way. Yes, that's, what was the question?
I don't have the skills.
Oh no, the skills. Sorry. Yeah, I was going off on a tangent. Yeah, the skills are out there. So that's definitely a terrible excuse.
Well, and the one thing caveat I would put there, and this will segue nicely into what I want to talk about next, is you do have to be careful. And even we have people who are just like, oh, this is a scam. What they're saying isn't real.
Sure.
What they're saying like isn't possible. But listen, if it was a scam, we'd be selling it for thousands of dollars. We're selling it for a low price because at the end of the day, we want to make our time back. We just want to make sure that we're making our time back. So you can't just give this information away for free. That being said, you do need to vet that information because we see people all the time. Aaron does response videos to like certain people. One that I just recently loved, I don't know if it's live yet or not, but where it's Cardone, and he's talking about $2 million isn't enough to live. I don't know how you live on $2 million.
2.7.
And then he did respond to the video where not to Aaron's video, but his video where he's like, well, I'm just like, I was talking to people who are making like $20 million. And so the messaging to them is going to be different, blah, 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 blah. But that just proves to me that these people are like, they switch. They have the switch that turns on and off where they're like, this is the person I'm talking about. So this is the message. This is the person I'm talking about. So this is the message. Our message is going to be the same for everybody. You can do it. Here is how you do it. Go do it. Like it's essentially just, you have to go put in the work. This is not a get rich quick scheme. And then dealing with, I think that's something that's been happening a lot more as we're getting more and more popular. I mean, popular is a very, very generous term for us right now, but more and more people listening, following, etc. Is you're getting the people who just naysay for naysay's sake, but
yes,
they do it in such a hurtful way. Like there are people out there making fun of my long hair. Like I don't understand why we have to. I guess people with long hair, all women don't have opinions, sir. I think we can have.
Or Jesus.
Ever heard of him? He had a beard too, but you're going to get a lot of that hate, and you have to just ignore it. But unfortunately, we're at a growth stage right now where like we are interacting with these people. Hopefully, eventually, we don't have to read the comments and the replies. But yeah, you're inevitably going to have people who are like, this thing is bad. What you're doing is bad. I don't believe like what you are doing. And you just have to ignore it. I can't think of any other way or advice to give you except for give them positive vibes, which Aaron has taught me. Like, hey, thanks for your comment. We wish you the best of luck. And then go about your day.
Right.
How do you deal with naysayers? Like the people who are just like dumbass?
Well, it's one of those things where, I mean, we're getting off topic probably with going into the how terrible the internet can be. But I loved your point about you definitely need to vet the information that you're getting because, and I did a video about this where if their main selling point is, hey, look at my private jet, look at my Ferrari or my Bugatti or whatever, look at my Patek Philippe, I got all these really cool things, but they're not giving you any actual information besides. And a lot of these dude are like, hey, you want to have this type of success? This is what you got to do. You got to buy my course. And the course is just how to sell courses. It's not about how to actually build a business, which I guess you could say there are people that are in the business of just selling courses and that's all it is. And it's just funny that there's literally a business of like selling, like they sell a course so they could teach you how to sell courses, which is just kind of crazy. Like our course is literally based off of the information and the mistakes and successes that we've had growing different businesses and exactly what we learned from those mistakes. So other people don't have to make them. And when those doubts are starting to creep into your mind about, I don't know if I can do this, or I'm not comfortable with search engine optimization, or I'm not comfortable with making a new brand or a new logo for my company. We have everything in the course. And I promise this isn't going to turn into a sales pitch just for a course. I'm just what I just want to say is just be really careful out there, because there are a lot of charlatans. There's a lot of people that claim they've done things when they haven't. I've never claimed I've made $1 billion. I don't try and flash really anything. We're just kind of a no nonsense.
Practical.
This is how you build a business. That's what it is.
Yeah. I guess like where I was going with this is like, did naysayers ever like impact you?
Okay.
Did like naysayers ever like impact you like with self-doubt?
Sure.
I know you've had the story
Sure.
of like the guy who's like, hey, how's your little
little
business doing? But
cleaning
probably at that
business
point you
going?
didn't have a whole lot of self-doubt, so it probably didn't matter.
Yeah, at that point I didn't care. And I think we talked about in the last podcast where you use those naysayers as motivation. It's my favorite basketball player all time, of course, because I'm of that demographic, is Michael Jordan. And so and I took offense to that. And then I went and kicked ass, like, or whatever. Like, yeah, and the thing that sucks, I didn't have this happen to me, but like when there'll be, family members like, what are you doing? What? I can't believe you're doing that. And I'm just, again, speaking in generality, I never had anyone in my family ever say anything like that, or even close friends. There were kind of acquaintances that I was kind of friends with that would be like, wanted to see you fail, but just using it as motivation, I guess, because you already have enough of the self-doubt is going to be creeping in. You kind of have to block out those people, or don't, like, let those people say those things, and just what is it? Keeping receipts. You keep your receipts for all those people that were talking shit about you. And then when your business blows up and you're doing really good, guess what? They're not getting invited to the cool parties and the cool trips that you're going to take all the supporters that you had throughout that journey. They're not invited to those things. So or whatever, like, it can be just whatever is going to help motivate you to get over the self-doubt and push you to be as successful as possible. Use whatever strategy or advantage you can. And if that is when people are talking shit to you, just remember, like, I will remember that, but don't let it linger. Just use it as motivation to keep going.
I think I'm like the opposite of, well, it's kind of similar to Michael Jordan, but the opposite. I use more of his like manufacturing hate. I don't think I get a whole lot of like straight up hate from people, like from people that I actually care about.
Yes.
But like it's the more of probably, once again, cerebral in my head. I'm like, I bet you they think this, or I bet you they think that, or they hope, like, they're probably mad that I stole their clients. They're probably mad that I did this. And in reality, they probably don't care, but that is something I have to do to like keep pushing forward, is like, I'm going to make sure that just stick it to them, which probably is more of a character flaw in myself. But, you know, if I can compare myself to Michael Jordan, he did that all the time. He made up stories that never even happened just so he could go and kick ass on the next one. So, am I Michael Jordan? Yes, I am Michael Jordan.
Have I been compared to the Michael Jordan of business? Yes, all the time.
And then I would say this kind of leads into like the next thing. I think getting over self-doubt has a lot to do with having like a pretty good support system around you. Like I have like Sheila, who I failed to give credit to. She's the person who came up with Hook Your Future Self Up that we talked about in a past episode. But like Sheila, Dwayne, Trent, Darren, Katie, obviously like you, PJ, like having a lot of people who are there, like motivating you. We talked about this in the friends and families, like the types of people that are involved. Like, I'm not really interested in having like a conversation with someone who just wants to like do a comparison thing of like, this is how well things are going for me. This is how well things are going for me. I'm more looking for the person who's like, this went well for me. How could you apply what I did to what you're doing to try to build that a little bit more?
Yes.
Or like more of the conversations that like Dwayne is probably like the best when it comes to that, where it's just like, oh, so you did this thing, and then this output happened, or this thing, and then this, like learned lessons, essentially Unsexy Businessmen for free.
Yes.
But surrounding yourself with those people who are like your support system is essential. Otherwise, it's just all you with all of the weight on your shoulders.
And also like, and be the friend that's super supportive as well. Like celebrate those wins that your friends are having. And I know we said this already, but like, even if they don't own a business, if they're just doing awesome in their career, like you want to be the supportive friend that people want to share those happy successes with. And yeah, like just this always goes back to just be a fucking good person. Like, is it really that hard to be happy for people when they're doing really well? No, it's not. Like you should want to see those successes in your friends. You should be motivating them or giving them I can't think of the word motivation. There we go. Motivation. To be more successful. Like that's just how all friends should be in a perfect world.
Yeah, I have like even like listed in my notes for today. It's just like believe a little bit in karma. Like
Yeah,
give a little
sure.
bit, and then like you're gonna receive a bit. Because I would see often like on LinkedIn, and I guess this could be another fuck LinkedIn thing of like this CEO's like, if I gave how does can I pick your brain? If I answered to every single person who asked me to pick my brain, I would like have no time. Like, congratulations on having such a huge following that a bunch of people want to like learn from you, first of all. But I don't want to add cool. Like, I don't get the point of you posting this because essentially my thing is like the number of people that have helped me get to where I am, I want to repay that to others. So
Right.
that's why we've
Yes.
had like free calls. Aaron primarily has had like free calls with some of the people who have purchased our course because once again, at the end of the day, it is about building that community, and we believe in like we're not trying to like rip people off. We're trying to make sure we are adequately paid for the amount of time that and investment that we put into this thing, and being supportive for people is just fun. It's fun to watch people win, especially
Yes.
especially people who came from nothing. If I'm being honest, like the person that you had a conversation with this week and shared. I don't want to get too much about what that person shared, but like essentially coming from nothing and building something in the United States, just like that's cool. Because I know way too
Yeah.
many people who didn't have to work hard.
Sure. Yeah, and I probably won't drop his name. I'd probably ask him. I know you weren't going to, but yeah, like I love having those conversations with those people. I just love talking to entrepreneurs, especially when they have the right mindset and the right kind of hustle. And it's cool to see that kind of what we, kind of what we were created is actually helping people. And again, sorry if everyone's like, awesome, you guys are talking about your course again. This is so cool. But it's more of just the proof of concept that we are able to meet with these people. I've talked to several of the people that have bought the course, and it's always a good time. The only reason we're even bringing this up isn't to toot our own horn. It's just in your life, make sure you're that person that is the cheerleader of whoever your friends or family or whoever it is, that you're that person that they can go to, and they know you got their back, kind of a thing. And also like when shit goes wrong, they know that they can come talk to you, and
How do
you're
we
not going
fix
to
it?
be judgmental,
Yeah.
and you can give them some advice, whether they do it or not. It's up to them. But I don't know. This is probably getting more into just like the be a good person.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important though, like, because as we're talking about self doubt throughout this entire thing, well, not to talk about the course again, but the course is meant to alleviate some of that self doubt. And then the community that we are building is meant to alleviate some of that self doubt. Because our goal at the end of the day isn't like to shame you or laugh at you, which we have heard from other courses. Like, I joined this course and then I said I wanted to do this thing. Like, you're doing that. You don't understand what you're doing at all. The people that we want to be a part of this community is less like you're stupid and more like try doing this, try doing
Oh,
this
dude,
thing.
like the Andy
This,
Elliott dude who's like, you don't have a six pack, you fucking piece of shit. Like, like that's not like I don't know why people are into that. Sorry to cut you off, but like that's just what really that was the first thing I thought when you said that. It was just like, yeah, there are courses out there where they're just gonna or like the one you brought up where he's like, you're making $2.7 million a year. How can anyone live off that? My jet costs $2.7 million a year in gas. Like, is that the person you want to be motivated by? The guy that's just going to shit on you the whole time? Like, yes, there are hard things you need to hear, but there is the correct way of getting that message across, other than just like, well, yeah, of course your business failed, or of course you're not getting sales because you're a piece of shit. That's why. Like, how is that helpful? I don't know. It's, I guess, motivational tools, but that's not how we do it.
Right. I think that's what kind of sucks. Like, to give a little inside baseball, and I promise this is the last time that I'll talk about this. Um, that's like been one of the hard, like, actually, no, you guys are going to get some business conversations that happen right now. Like, it's been like the hardest conversation Aaron and I have about what we're doing with Unsexy Businessmen is we get the self-doubt of like, I think we just have to do get rich quick scheme chat. Like, we just have to be the Tony Robbins who's like, you're a dumbass. Like, what you don't be a pussy. Like, we have to do that type of stuff. And we still haven't done it. We talk about doing it, but I think that just speaks to how we want this community to be created is like, no, it's just, we're here to support you and help you achieve whatever your goals are, whether that's financial freedom, whether that's time freedom, whether that's selling your business eventually after you scaled it to a certain level. Like, we don't want to make you feel like shit. And we also don't want to be unrealistic in how long it's going to take you to get there, because the more unrealistic we make it, the more self-doubt you're going to have, because you're going to say, why didn't I get to this point? Like, why don't I have $2.7 million? Why don't I have this? Like, I'll tell you why, because it takes a really long time to get there. That's why you don't have, like, it just takes time to get there. It's not going to take you 1 month. Fucking Grant Cardone's been scamming people for years. Hopefully that's not
Yes,
like,
allegedly.
yes, allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Yeah, he's getting sued by all the investors and everything. But no, like, but at the same time, we're not just gonna like, we don't just coddle people. Like, if you're not
Also
doing
true.
something right within your business, yeah, we're gonna tell you what you're not doing right. We're just not gonna do it the Andy Elliott style. Is like, it's because you don't have a six pack, you fucking fat piece of shit. It's gonna be, it's gonna be like, oh, you're not getting sales. You're not getting sales, dude, because you're not talking to anybody. I was like, then I start breaking down. Okay, like, this is the conversation I had. He's like, I'm just trying to get more sales. I'm like, well, what are you doing for sales? He's like, well, I go out like an hour a day. And I was like, dude, when I, at least this is what I'm like, when I was doing it, I was going out 8 hours a day, going and just walking into buildings. And he's like, hell yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then I'm going to start doing that, which is the exact attitude you want. But so it's just kind of back to my point is like, we're not going to just like coddle you and be like, no, you got this, pal. You're going to be able to do it. We're going to give you actual information. And this is kind of what these podcasts are about anyways. Like, we're just trying to give actual information and things that we've learned from growing our own businesses that is going to help you. Now, whether you do that or not is up to you. And if you're not seeing those successes and you don't take the advice of us or whoever your mentor is, like, then it is on you. Like, I'm never going to be like, yeah, man, you just got dealt a really tough hand. You're not getting sales. Oh, you're only going out 30 minutes every other week to do sales. I don't. You got this, pal. No, we're gonna call you out, but we're not gonna do it in a douchey way. Because yeah, you don't need, again, because we are talking about self-doubt, so that's where it all ties back together. Like, making people feel like shit doesn't help the majority of entrepreneurs. Like, giving them a reality check on what they need to be doing is very helpful, and doing it in the correct way. It was like same thing with employees. Like, when I had employees, like, somebody screwed something up, I wasn't me like, well, it's because you're a fucking idiot. That's why. I can't believe you did this. No wonder you only work here and you can't do your, like, no, it's like, oh, this is what happened. All right, man. So when you're talking to the customer, you have to set up expectations. You forgot to do that. You forgot to walk through at the end when you're done doing that carpet cleaning. We would have been able to spot that issue that came up later down the road. These are the things you need to do for the next time so we can avoid this. That's how I would do with an employee. And it'd be the same thing with all the entrepreneurs that we talk to. It's like, all right, you need to do this, this, and this. Then let me know how it goes.
Yeah. I think that that wraps it up. Go out, be unafraid, everybody. Go try stuff, go experience. You got it. If there's something that is missing or not working, try, iterate.
And everyone has self-doubt. everyone. So don't think it's like you're like, oh my gosh, I bet you, Steve Jobs or Elon Musk or whoever it is, never had any self doubts, and I must be a crappy. Every entrepreneur has their self doubts. It's the ones that become successful are the ones that work out of those self doubts.
Awesome. Well, let's switch over to some listener submitted business advice. All right. As always, you can reach out to us in the YouTube comments or comments anywhere or at UnsexyBusinessmen. We'll have that on the screen at gmail.com. So we have two. I'm going to start off with one from a YouTube subscriber, Simone. Thanks for sending in the question, Simone. This one is more for Erin. Her question was, I'm new to commercial cleaning. I want to have competitive rates, but don't know what to charge. So commercial pricing
Yeah,
question.
this is great. Great question, Simone, because I literally had the exact same question when I was starting my business and got into the commercial side. So what I did, and this is honestly, this will be for almost any aspect of a service business. You kind of have to just call around to your competition, pretend that you have a building, and I mean so what I would do, what I did was if I was going to bid on a building, and let's say it's 10,000 square feet, and you have all of the things, how the frequency of the cleaning and there's just everything that they want done. I would then call two or three different places and give them all that information. I wouldn't say, hey, I'm Simone from Honestly Clean. Can you give me, like, I was like, hey, I would just call them up like, hey, this is Aaron. I have a building. It's 10,000 square feet. I want it cleaned 5 times a week and blah, 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 whatever the things are. And then like, could you just send me like, what's a rough estimate for something along those, for doing something like that? And then you get at least a general idea of what other people are charging. And that doesn't really, not only that doesn't even mean like, okay, well I have to charge that. The other thing too is, and this is what I was talking, it's funny because I was talking to one of the other entrepreneurs that bought our course. I was talking to him on Monday about this, was you kind of have to learn really quick of being able to do an estimate on a building just off the fly. Like I would walk into a building and I would just walk through it with the manager, and I would know by the end, just in my mind, how many hours it was going to take. And then it's easy from there because it's like, all right, it's going to take 5 hours a night to clean this building. And then you just, how much, per hour do you want to make? Then you start have to do all your finance stuff. You have your employees, you have this, and this. Ours was, this was like 10 years ago. I think we were doing like $30 an hour at the time. It's probably more than that. But the whole point of before you even get to that part is find out from your competition what they're charging, because then you could break it down. You're like, okay, I know I could do this in 5 hours. They're saying they're going to charge, I have to do math on the fly. Great. They're going to charge $5,000 a month, and then you just kind of break down. All right, 5 hours a night times 5 times 4. So that's 1,000,000 hours. No, just joking. But that's what I'm trying to say. Like the first thing you want to do is find out what your competition is charging. That's probably the most important thing. And then, like I said, don't feel like you have to go lower. Because a lot of the times we would run into managers who they wanted the middle. They didn't want the lowest, they want the highest. So that's probably the best way to do that is just find out what your competition is charging and then get something in the middle. And then when you're walking through that building that you want to bid on, just develop that ability to know how long something's going to take. And listen, when I first started doing that, sometimes I was off by an hour or two, maybe, which can be a big deal. But the nice thing is if you're going and you're doing an awesome job and you build up a good relationship with that manager and you're like, hey, and this literally happened to us in the beginning. You build up a good relationship, like, hey, we're actually end up like it's going to be a little more expensive next month. We're really dedicating a lot more time to making sure the building looks good, and you have to make sure they're happy, because if they're happy, like, yeah, the building's looking fantastic, like, it's going to be an extra $500 a month or whatever it is. They're almost always cool with it because they like you, they like your service, and they don't want to have to go through the whole rigmarole of trying to find someone else again. because they know that the likelihood of bringing somebody in that's going to do as good of a job as you've been doing is very low. So yeah, hopefully that answered your question, Simone. Buyer course. Uh, okay. Set up a meeting with me. I'd love to talk to you. Set
Yeah.
up a meeting. We can do a 15-minute free call. And I'd love to talk to you more about it.
Yeah. I don't have much to add because I primarily do pricing in much different realms, but it is always just, you have to know, like, I base everything off of a place that I worked and how much they were charging. And then the number of hours that I thought it would take to do whatever someone is doing, and then multiplying what our hourly rate was by that. And I agree with
Can we
Aaron.
put
I
a
think the
link?
most important thing that Aaron said was, and if you build a good rapport, even if you're off a little, the devil that you know versus the devil that you don't. You're an angel usually if you're cleaning really well. So they're not going to be like, let's go take the risk of finding someone who, best case scenario, does the same job as you and costs a little bit less. Worst case scenario is a catastrophe.
I literally never had a client once we told me how to raise the rate. I mean, you're not going to be like, we're doubling the rates, but I never had a client that say, hey, we got to raise our rates by whatever, ever say, we're not going to do that. We're going to find somebody else. They probably would have said that if I said we have to double it, but it was something reasonable. But because of that rapport, like Alex, you were saying, that you have with that person, it was always like, oh, okay, yeah. And there's like a reasoning behind it. It's not like, because I want more money, or just like, I got a vacation I got to pay for. If it's like it's going to be a legit reason of why you're doing it. It's not just to rip off your client.
All right, next question. Wrong shipping address and improperly shipped second order. I run a deadline-driven business, and one of my best, most consistent customers recently gave me 2 rush orders going to 2 different locations. Everything was entered correctly, but one of my employees decided to send both orders to the same address. At the last minute, I had the whole team rally. We made the order and shipped it next day with Saturday delivery, except this morning I woke up to panic calls because the Saturday box wasn't checked. Now the replacement order is also going to miss the deadline. Oh, so it wasn't. Okay. I'm almost certain this customer won't come back. I feel like firing everyone. And honestly, I know I'm unreasonably upset, but I'm overwhelmed, stressed, and the business has been growing fast. I probably need to put better processes in place and improve my management skills. So here's my question. Where did I go wrong? How can I avoid this in the future?
So, first advice is a tale as old as time. Never make decisions when you're mad, ever, in any facet of your life. So yeah, don't go fire everybody unless everybody's no. Don't always take a breather. And you wrote an email, so maybe that's your way of kind of decompressing. The processes, that's the way you solve this. The problem is you have employees make mistakes, you're going to make mistakes. But if you have when a mistake happens and you can set up a new, checks and balances, whatever it is in your system to prevent that from happening in the future, that's just how businesses make mistakes, and then you learn to not make the same mistake again. So that's what I would do. I would just have a new system of someone needs to check on this specific, box that we're clicking on to make sure it's shipped on the right date or whatever it is. And then have a training where you kind of talk about it and why it's so important. That's what I would do.
Right. I reading this email again, but one of my employees decided to send both orders to the same address. I don't like I know that you're probably like super pissed off. I don't like the proactive language that you're using there, where it makes it seem like this person was proactively like, I'm going to send it to both locations. What happened is a rush order happened. Everyone's stressed because you have to get this out as quickly as possible. This customer unfortunately has 2 locations, and this person was just trying to get them to this person as quickly as possible. So ease up on your employee there who's just trying to meet the deadlines. It actually sounds like your employee is probably a really good employee if they're able to work under this type of stress. But like Aaron said, I don't know in this specific example of how like you communicate, where it's like anytime it's a singular client with 2 locations in big red, it says send to 2 separate locations, which then forces someone to go and see which one needs to go to which location. but apart from that, like if I wanted to give you like specific things that you can do in your processes, because you already know the answer to this question, you said it in your email. You're like, I probably need to put better processes in place and improve my management skills. Yes, I have a feeling you are a person, love you. I have a feeling you are a person who just trusts your people to do stuff and like throws it at them. Like, you guys can figure this out. And you can't do that. You can't, like, there are certain things where you can practice that. But when it comes to getting something delivered, not like testing things out, it has to be X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. And we're actually going to do a standard operating procedures podcast for next week. So perhaps tune into that one, and that can help you avoid this mistake in the future. But yeah, I think you're just really pissed off. I'm sure you're settled down since sending this email, but your people sound awesome. They're performing under pressure. Just fix the process that led to this.
And thanks for the email. And thank you for listening.
Yeah. And that's everything that I got. Once again, it's unsexybusinessmen@gmail.com, or we respond to comments that you guys leave in YouTube or on the podcast. Everyone have a wonderful rest of the week, and we will chat with you all again next week. Bye, guys. Thank you for listening to the Unsexy Businessmen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review. Now go get to work.